Hello everyone, I'm Heather. This is Anwen. We're back for a really quick video, this time to do the end of year book tag. So I think last year is when Ariel Bissett made this tag, and she made it in September. And when I saw it originally, I was like, what are you on about? It is definitely not the end of the year, particularly because I live in chaos and don't plan things very intensely. So the end of the year for me is like literally 2 days before the end of the year. And I think that is actually when I did this tag last year, like the last week of December. I was like, right, it's the end of the year, let's do a tag. But this year, because I've had a lot of time in lockdown to think about how I want it to be 2021 now, I've been planning for this tag probably since about March. So let's just get a jump on it early, shall we? Yeah? Okay, so the first question in the tag is, are there any books you started reading that you still need to finish for the end of the year? And the answer is, of course. Do you know anything about me? I think I'm doing pretty good though, in that I only have one. I've knocked it down pretty well. And I'm not going to bang on about it because I've talked about it about 84,000 different times, because that's what happens when I'm reading a book for about 8,000 years. So this one is Autumnal by Curtis Sattenfeld, and the idea is that it's like a fictional sort of alternate world where Hillary Clinton still exists and is still herself, but does not marry Bill Clinton. So I love the premise of that. I love Hillary Clinton. Like, we'll just see what happens with this if I can get it finished, for God's sake. Okay, I will show you where I am in the book. I'm here. Like, I'm not kidding. We need to sort this out, especially because it's a library book, and at the minute they're not really chasing people for library books, but once there's a vaccine and once it's New Year and everything, I reckon they're going to start coming hard for these, and they're going to want it back. What's the matter, baby girl?
I go like later.
Whoa! Number 2 is, are there any autumnal books you're reading that will transition you into the end of the year? And the answer to that one is, I have to think about this one actually. I think I gave these a quick once over to sort of think about what they were, and I forgot to think about this one properly. And I think the answer is no. I didn't really read any autumnal books this year. Like, I think the main problem is, I live in Wales, and I'm from Seattle. Like, Wales and Seattle have similar weather. What's the matter?
Maggie lives in Mommy's from America and Daddy's from Wales.
So, the weather patterns in these two places, they don't really have an autumn. They don't really allow for it. It's really just sort of a wet winter and a dryish summer, and like autumn, it's sort of like transitions very quickly from the dry summer to the wet winter, and there isn't really a spring and an autumn. So I think because of that, I don't tend to really embrace an autumn like mindset. I don't go, oh yeah, you know, crisp autumn leaves and, you know, crisp air and blah blah blah, because it just gets really wet really fast, and then I just get grumbly and start getting SAD syndrome or whatever straight away. So I don't really like leave place in my mind to consider like, oh, I should do things like in a particularly autumny sort of way. I think that's why I don't really get into autumn books. I did last year though. I read, like, what's that one? That graphic novel, like the hay rides and everything. What was that one? Pumpkin Heads or something like that. Like, I'll put it up. And that was really good. I really liked that. But it does sort of represent a whole world that I'm not really, you know, into. I don't really see it in my mind. I don't have it in my real world. It's hard for me to engage with that kind of like autumny type world. But anyway, okay, is there a new release you're still waiting for? And the answer is, dear God, yes! Diana Gabaldon, I love you, but what is the holdup? Okay, I've been waiting for the last sort of book of the Outlander series for like 3 years now, and it's getting crazy. Like, it's been longer than 3 years, but I mean, for like a year or two after one comes out, I'm like, okay, fine, there's not going to be another one for a while. She's got to write them. You know, it takes time to make a masterpiece, that's fine. But it's been like a good 3 years since she said, okay, it's almost done. Like, if it's been almost done for 3 years, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to rush you. I don't want to be a jerk, but like, Diana, come on. I need to know what happens to these people. They're part of my life now, and I'm very upset that it's taken so long to figure out what happens to the end of them. Okay, so the next question is 3 books you want to read before the end of the year. And I have more than 3. Mainly to do with library books that need to be finished and sent back to the library. And also my library audiobook app has gone a bit crazy again. I sort of mentioned this before. Every once in a while it goes a bit rogue and sends me about 9 of my reserved books all at once. And it sort of done that to me again. You have more than 3 of them, but I'll just say 3 of them because we don't have time for a whole list of things. So one of them is The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix. So I'm not really hugely into Garth Nix. Like, I've read Sabriel and everything like that. I haven't been hugely into it, but I've been reading a couple sort of this year. And also I think I've like caught an infection from the guy who works at the Cafe Nero near my house. Like, he's really into Garth Nix. Like, he loves the shit out of him. And he's been sort of talking about him, and he said like how excited he is for this book, and I just think, oh, you know, okay, like maybe he is good, like we'll get into it. So this new one is like, the idea I think is you've got the left-handed booksellers and the right-handed booksellers, and the left-handed booksellers are like the fighting arm, they're like the army battle arm, and the right-handed booksellers are like the intellectual arm, like the researching arm, and they work together to like protect this like old world or something like that, this like old magical world or something. And one of the left-handed booksellers is named Merlin. And like there's something to do with this woman who's like trying to figure out what happened to her mother or something like that, and sort of comes across these like left-handed booksellers or whatever. So her story sort of like mixes with theirs while they're also on some sort of quest or journey or whatever. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think like the premise of it sounds pretty cool. Okay, so the next one is The Blue Ticket by Sophie McIntosh. So I have this one in my like audiobook borrow box thing, but I also have it as an actual book, and I do quite like to sort of have both media ready to go. Like if I'm reading it at home, but then suddenly I need to go get my kid from school, and I can just switch to having the audiobook while I'm riding my bike, and I can never like stop in the whole day. So if I want that experience for myself, I need to do it before the audiobook expires in my borrow box app, which I think is probably going to be the end of this month, or like in December sometime. So I definitely need to do that one as well. The idea for this one is it's like a sci-fi type thing where women are given like a lottery or whatever once they reach like puberty or like maturity, like they have their period and everything. They do a lottery, and it sort of like pick out a thing that says whether they're going to be people who have kids or whether they're going to be people who don't have kids. And like that's like a crazy idea, I think. Like it takes the choice away, and like maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, whatever. I just really like the idea of it. So that one's the next one. You're sitting all crazy. And the last one is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I don't know how to say that. I apologize. But this one, I don't really know what this one's about so much. It's like something to do with the Dominican Republic, I think. And also to do with like sort of loss and grief. Like this girl's father dies. And I think it's like a dual narrative type thing as well. Like there's 2 narrators and they sort of switch between each other talking about like the death of their father or something like that. And it sounds really good. I wish I did know more about it. But I guess like I don't really like to know loads about a book before going into it. I just want to get to it. So there's that. Okay, so the next one is there a book that could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? And I think there might be, to be honest. Like, I don't want to jinx it or anything. But I have this library book that I definitely have to finish for the end of the year, and it's called Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. And it's sort of like a magical private eye one, magical and fantasy, and a private eye like investigation thing. It's 2 of my favorite things. I'm super excited about it. I guess like the main idea is that this girl, she's a PI, and she's a bit of like a rough character. I like a good rough character PI, me. She's got like a drinking problem. She's a bit rough around the edges. She's sort of just going about her normal life or whatever. But then she's asked to investigate the death of someone at her like sister's academy, or half sister, or like some relative. Their academy, they've had a murder and just to investigate, but it's like the sister is a magical person. She's like a witch or something, and it's sort of unclear whether the PI also is magical or has chosen not to be magical or was never given that gift or whatever. Like, I'm just excited. Like, this could end up being really good, like either really good or really bad. Like, a couple of people I know and who I trust their opinions. They've put on Goodreads that it was terrible. So that doesn't really say a lot, but like the premise is just so good. It can't be that bad, right? I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good, and I gotta fit it in somehow. So anyway, the last one is, have you started making reading plans for 2021? And the truth is obviously yes, okay, because I like to make lists of my books ready to go. And I always do like, what's it? I always do like the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge thing, you know? And this year I made like a hokey, silly like thing. But I like to sort of like have, you know, I like to fit a prompt every time I read something, or like close to every time, you know, I like to have like something to guide me through the year. So I think I'm going to do this again. I've read all these ones now, except for the prompt for a medical thriller, and I think I'm just going to bin that off, to be honest. This is not the year for a medical thriller, and I don't feel bad about just trashing that one like the rest of this year. But I finished all the other ones. And like I read loads of ones I wouldn't normally have read and still like, simply because like it requires you to put it in a prompt. But I'll do that again this year, I think. They don't normally release the list for that until end of November, early December, I think. Also, I like to do NPR's Book Concierge, which comes out about the same time. I like to go through that like a crazy monster and then just like put out all the ones I really love and then try to read them all in that year. But also, just like on a more immediate stance for January, I feel like January is going to hit us really hard, guys. I feel like there's probably going to be another lockdown. It's also going to be freezing cold. It's going to be the end of Christmas. We're not even going to have Christmas to fall back on for cheer. I think January is going to be like the worst January in history. So I need to have, you know, a reading plan ready to go for ultimate cheer. And I think what I've decided is just to make it a graphic novel month or a graphic memoir month or whatever, and just like knock out all of these like graphic books that I've built up and haven't read yet. So it'll be a way to get rid of those, but also like easy, creative, you know, artistic reading to get me through January. Not a lot of like intense focus, you know, not a lot of stress, just easy, happy reading. Don't pick your nose. Just easy, happy reading. So for January, I think I'm gonna go with Queen of the Sea by Dylan Meconis. This one I think is about like a medieval nun, which sounds like it wouldn't be very good. But like sort of going through it and looking at it, it does look really good. Let me see now. Margaret has lived on the island for as long as she can remember, and she loves every inch of it, from the mysterious stone circle left by the old people to the windswept beach where she and the Elysian sisters await the ship that brings supplies to their remote convent home. But everything changes when two new arrivals appear on the island. First, William, who will become her dear friend, then Eleanor, who will upend her peaceful existence. I think that looks good. Okay, and the next one is Whitebird by R.J. Palacio. This one looks really good, colorful, nice. So this is a continuation of, to the millions of readers who fell in love with R.J. Palacio's Wonder, Julian is best known as Augie Pullman's classroom bully. Whitebird reveals a new side to Julian's story as Julian discovers the moving and powerful tale of his grandmother, who was hidden from the Nazis as a young Jewish girl in occupied France during the Second World War. So I never read Wonder. It's on my list. I do want to read it. But a friend told me that you can just read this and not actually have read Wonder. So I think it should be okay. Because it's about a character that's in Wonder, but it's about a completely different character, so it has nothing to do with the other one. So it should be okay. And the like young Jewish girl hidden from the Nazis sort of story thing, I quite like that. So I'm excited about that one. Next one is Bloodlust in Bonnets by Emily McGivern. And this one is sort of like Jane Austen, but with vampires. So, Bloodlust in Bonnets follows the clueless debutante Lucy, the ruthless bounty hunter Sham, and the exuberant poet Lord Byron as they flirt, bicker, and slash their way through early 19th century Britain in pursuit of notorious vampire Lady Violet Travesty. Oh my god, I might read this one first. This might be my first read of 2021, for serious. Like, I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be the perfect, like, first read of the year. Okay, and then also I have Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, and this is like a whole series. I haven't read it yet, but loads of people have. I think there's like 3 of them or something. And this is the first one I haven't read it yet. But basically it says, boy meets boy, boys become friends, boys fall in love. Your average friends to boyfriend situation that I'm pretty excited about. Loads of people have said this is absolutely hilarious and amazing and fantastic. So I'm excited. And then if it's really good, I'll just get the other 2, shall I? Just get the other 2. Why not? Ain't no rules in this life. Also, I was thinking as part of January, if I run out of graphic novels, because I'm voraciously trying to forget that actual life exists, I might move on then to just like your average like middle grade book. Not actually graphic novels, but with enough actual pictures, you know, that it like sort of seems like a graphic novel. Also, so this one is a continuation of Frostheart that I read last year at this time. Basically, this kid is like a sort of northern magical world type warrior and also like an orphan. And I like all the sort of like characters, and also the illustrations are friggin' amazing, basically. And then this one, Anwen loves Christmasaurus. You loved Christmasaurus, didn't you? This one is a new Christmasaurus. Did I show you this one? Yeah? Okay, so it's like Christmasaurus and the Winter Witch. It also has loads of pictures in, and we read Christmasaurus last year. And it's like basically this Christmas dinosaur brings Christmas magic to a family that's sort of without it at the minute. So I don't know what this continuation has in store, but it says, and the Winter Witch, so it's introducing us to a new amazing character, and I'm super excited about that. So that's the end of the tag. We finished the tag, basically. But I feel like it would be terrible of me to finish an end of the year tag without mentioning to you the amazing 2021 calendar my kid made me buy. Look at how hilariously cheesy this is. This is like pure 80s fantasy realness. Look, like this is now going to be what I look at every day for the rest of the year, or for all of 2021. And it is just pure cheesy awesomeness. Look at it. I think my favorite one is this one. Can we talk about how amazing the month of May is going to be? Just every day this is going to be in my life. So amazing. Right, okay, so that is the end of the tag. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments at all, please let me know. Also, fill me in on your plans, you know, like, are you ready for the end of the year? Do you have everything sorted, you know? If you have any recommendations for me, which is why I'm in this game in the first place, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in it for the recommendations. If you have anything that sort of matches what I'm looking to do that you think I'd like, please let me know. My TBR list expands daily from amazing people being like, you know what's also awesome that you should read? Boom. Okay, that's it. We will see you next time. You can say bye.
Bye.